first off, I'd like to tell everybody thanks for tuning in and kind of bearing with us for we're not good camera people, or we're just in a learning stage doing these. So thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a little bit different than what we've done the past couple of weeks. All of my videos are not going to be about hunting or fishing or anything in particular. There's going to be just a variety of things, a variety of stories. But if you tuned in into the very first video, you can see that I told you that I had worked for the Dallas Zoo for many years, well, 16 years. I started in June of '72. And I was there until '88. So anyway, I've seen a lot of things at the zoo, and some of these I'd like to share with you. This is a story that's embedded in my mind that will be there forever. But anyway, this all started back on January the 27th, 1981, when this incident happened. And my helper and myself, at the time I was working in the hoofed animal department, and we were hauling dirt to the camel area, and we were using a Cushman, and if I remember right, it had a little dump bed on it, or whatever. We could get it actually inside the pens and haul this dirt and dump it and go back and get another load where we had the dirt stored. Well, anyway, we had made several loads, and we're coming back with another load, and I hear someone holler my name, Lannie, Lannie, real excited voice, and I turned, and as I turned and looked back, I was going by the end of the cat row, and I saw the cat man, the man that takes care of the large cats. He was waving his arms and hollering my name, and as I looked at him, I looked beyond him, and there was a tiger out on the back row, out of its cage, out of its pen, and he's hollering, and I thought, oh my Lord, we got a tiger out. What are we going to do? Well, anyway, I got off the Cushman, and I told Jerry, I said, go find me a water hose and meet me at the other end. I didn't know what I was going to do with the water hose, except maybe try to discourage the cat with a water hose. So anyway, I really don't know what happened to Jerry. I don't know where he went. Really, I didn't see him anymore. I think he kind of got scared and just I left or something. I don't know. I never did know where he went. But anyway, I did run into a maintenance worker as I was running around in the front of the cat row, and I told him, I said, run to the office and tell them we've got a tiger out, and tell them we need help. Well, back in those days, we didn't have any communication. We didn't have walkie-talkies or anything like that, and so there was no way to call for help. I think there was a telephone possibly on the cat row somewhere, and one in the mammal barn that I remember, but I don't think any of them worked. But anyway, I didn't know what I was fixing to do, but I just knew that this cat, she was an adult Siberian tiger. She was, I guess she was full-grown size. If you've never seen a tiger up close, they're that tall, and they're longer than this bench. And they weigh, I don't know, 400 pounds, 400 pounds. They're huge. Well, anyway, as I rounded the far end of the cat row, which is, we used to call it the lion end, but I think at the time we discontinued the lions, but I came around the end of that cat row, and I looked, and the cat was still quite a ways down the end of the row, towards the other end, but walking in my direction. And all I could think about was, actually, when I rounded the end of the cat row, all these people were beginning to see what was going on, and were kind of coming that way to see the excitement. And I kept saying, "Oh, get out of here! Get back! Get out of here!" So anyway, as I come around the end of the cat row, all was in my mind was saying, I didn't think this was going to turn out good. It couldn't turn out good at all with a tiger out. And but I also thought that I needed to put myself between her and the public, because I mean, a kid, there's no way could get away from a tiger if I mean, it wouldn't take them long and they would kill a child. So I mean, I kept thinking, well, I could live longer, but I didn't want to die. But I mean, I couldn't think of anything to do except just try to get myself between her and the public. And so anyway, I'm beginning to walk on down the cat road towards her. Well, on the back of the dens, these dens were made out of stone, and there was a metal ladder that was attached to the wall. And so I got to that ladder, and I thought, well, at least maybe I can try to get up and get on top and get away from her or something. I didn't know really what to do. My mind was in a whirl, but I looked over on the other side of the road, and leaning against the wall, which behind the cat road was a real tall wall. It was probably 20 foot tall. It was a stone wall, and leaning against that wall was a cat scratch board. Now you got to also understand that at the end of the cat road, right where the road starts, at the end of the cat road, there's gates, and for you can drive a vehicle behind there, but they're 3 foot tall. So all that was between that cat and the public was a 3 foot tall fence. That was it. And I thought, oh Lord, you got to try to keep her from getting that far. So I saw this cat scratch board leaning against the wall. What it is something for the cats when they're in their cages. They can scratch these boards to keep their claws sharp. And so anyway, it seemed like it was about 3 foot wide and about 4 foot long, if I recall right. And I thought, if I can get that board and drag it over and lean it against that ladder, then possibly that would, I don't know, put something between me and the cat. So I got over there and I grabbed this board, and I thought, oh my Lord, it was so heavy. And I drug it across there, and I leaned it against this ladder, and as somewhat of some protection. But anyway, as the cat's coming down behind the dens there, all the other large cats were they were snarling, they were jumping at the bars trying to get to her, and I mean everything, even from the other tigers to the jaguars, the leopards, the black leopards, the black jaguars, the hyena, everything was trying to get to her. And so she's really on edge and spooked, and so she's real jerky and scared, and because she's out of her environment, out of her cage, she's never been out there. So anyway, I hollered at Don, and I asked him, I said, who is it? And he told me Tundra was what he said. And I said, well, in my mind, I remembered that we'd raised 3 cats, and they were Tundra, Thistle, and Thunder. So I knew that if it was Tundra, she was hand-raised, and the possibility of her just out and out attacking me was maybe not as great. So anyway, a tiger makes a sound that's kind of like a purr, and I thought, I'm going to make that sound to her and maybe it'll calm her down. So I did, and it sounds similar to this. And I did that, and she did it back. And as she's walking steadily towards me, I began to talk to her like that, and I don't know what as she's getting closer, I thought, oh Lord, what am I going to do? And finally, she ended up about 3 or 4 foot from me, and I've got my arm out past the board. I've got my right arm up on the ladder and my right foot on the ladder. Now, if you own a cat, you've seen a cat when they're mad, they flatten their ears against the head, and all of a sudden she kind of locked in on my eyes with her eyes, and she flattened her ears and snarled. And when she did that snarl, she like that, I was up and on top of those dens as fast as I could go. I don't even know how I got up there that fast, but I did, and she ran around that board. I think that's what saved me, because she could have just snatched me, but she ran around the board and then ran back around the board, and by then I was up on top, and I saw her as she gathered to jump up there with me. I said, no, 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 and I took off running. Well, in turn, she ran with me. Instead of jumping up there, she would go along, I would stop, she would gather to jump, and I would run again. And we were doing this all the way back down the cat road, back to where she had come out of her cage. And I remember people told me later how brave I was about this, but let me tell you something. Don, Catman, he was standing just past her door, and he had a board in his hand about yay long, 2x4, if I remember right. He had a 2x4 in his hand, and he had it pulled back like this, like a ball bat. Buddy, he comes, the cat's coming along with me. Every time I would stop, she'd gather to jump, and I'd run. Well, I stopped right over her den, and she's right there. She stopped. Don is 2 to 3 feet in front of her, just like this, waiting to hit her. And she looked at Don, she looked at me, she looked in the den where her food was waiting. I can't remember if she looked back at me or what, but she walked right straight into her den. And when she did, I laid down, grabbed the door, and Don grabbed the door, and we slammed that door, and we got her in. And this was without incident. I mean, I fell apart. I mean, I could not walk. I was so shaky as I'm trying to walk back towards that ladder to get back down off of the dens. I couldn't hardly walk. I was shaking so bad. I really thought I was going to die that day. And I thought I kept thinking, that was it for me. But it went great. I mean, everything worked out. Got the cat back in. And anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I've got a lot of stories from the zoo that you may enjoy. But you probably never heard of that, about the tiger escape. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Please continue tuning in. I'm sure there's something down the road that you'll enjoy. And bear with us on our cameras and everything. We're learning. It's all a learning phase for us. So bear with us. We're not perfect by no means, nor do we want to be perfect. We want to get better as we go, and we're learning things every day. So kind of bear with us, and I'm sure there'll be a story or two down the road that you'll enjoy. Just remember to like us, subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll know that there's a new video out. But listen, I'll talk to you, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you a lot. Bye-bye.